Yeah, that's right, Courtney. And I'll believe that Macy's Christmas House is shutting down when I see it. That's an Edmonton institution. Am I wrong?
You're right.
Yeah. Hey, Paul Moulton, welcome to the program. Congratulations on the new gig.
Thank
Rolled
you.
out yesterday as the new executive director of Edmonton Arts Council.
Indeed.
And there's quite a story, as I understand it, behind it, how you lined this gig up. You didn't exactly show up in your standard suit and tie for a couple interviews in a boardroom.
It was a little different. I had applied in the fall and sent a little email saying, I hope it's not going to be a problem. I'm going to be out of the country for 3.5 months. And they said, well, as long as we can Skype you and reach you, we're fine. So the first call I got, I was in Daytona, Florida, and that was about a half hour with the executive search person, and she wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
And then about a week later, I was in New Orleans visiting a friend and did a Skype interview from her condo for about an hour. And then they came back to me and said, you know, we're down to 2. We want to do a video conference. I said, okay, on Monday I'll be in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And we just drove through the worst windstorm, all dust everywhere. We were camping, so we set up our trailer on top of a hill. The wind is blowing to beat the band, and I'm trying to do this video conference, which didn't work. So we did an hour and a half on a cell phone. And so 3 interviews, none of them involving, you know, I even dressed up from the waist up in case the video conference happened, right?
Like a news anchor behind a desk.
Absolutely.
You got your
I know what you guys
shorts
do.
and
Yeah,
a suit jacket.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
I mean,
you.
what a story in getting the job. Now, we know that it's a big job. You're going to be allocating about $13 million a year to a ton of different agencies with a ton of different disciplines. But the kind of neat angle of this is that really, in a way, this is a full circle return for you.
It is. It's quite intriguing, really, and there are lots of circularities, and this is really a good one for me. In '96, the Arts Council was formed. It came out of a steering committee that the Mayor Jan Reimer had formed. And the first volunteer board of that organization had me as its chair. In fact, John Mann, who's been doing this job now for 15 years, he's been with the Arts Council for 17, I was on the search committee that found John for that job.
Absolutely unbelievable. Well, I mean, full circle, I suppose, provides an opportunity for you to, in retrospect, say, here's where Edmonton's art scene was then, when Mayor Reimer put this in place. Here's where it is now. What's changed on the positive front, and what are some areas that still need some light shed upon them?
Well, you know, I would say it's almost entirely positive. There's been tremendous growth, tremendous support for the arts. City Council has been extremely generous and supportive over the years, and I think there's just been, you know, a real shift in people's understanding in our community that this is a valuable and important part of the identity of Edmonton, makes us unique. And you know, we've gone from festivals being a sideline to festivals being at the core of what we are as an arts community. Our flagships, you know, our art gallery's got a new home, our symphony has a new home. We've really come a long, long way.
Your CV, very impressive, and obviously played a role in you getting this gig, but you've worked in museums and art galleries, field director for the Windspear, you've worked with CKUA radio in certain capacities. I mean, does that give you the understanding you need? Because, I mean, of course, $13 million, a nice big chunk of change, but as we know, it can also dissipate quickly. It can be spent quickly.
Yeah.
Where are some of your priorities going to be?
Well, you know, the best practices that the Arts Council employs are a model for the country. And so my first job is not to screw it up. I think, you know, what they put in place, what's been going on is tremendous. So there's a real key to that for me. The board has set some interesting strategic priorities. One, they've done a fair bit of work already on diversity and inclusion, and there's a lot more still I think we can do to embrace more communities, more cultural groups, more Aboriginal artists, that kind of work. So that's begun. There's more to do there. And then I think collaboration and communication across the entire arts community, really critical. These, you know, that try and continue to find ways to get the community to work better together.
I cannot blame you for speaking somewhat generally because you've not even taken the job yet. We'll look forward to next month when you do. Paul Moulton, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations. It's got to be a good feeling for you.
Fantastic feeling. Thanks
You can
so much.
find out more about what Edmonton Arts Council does by checking out their website. We've linked to it under the Inside BT link on ours. We'll be back with news, traffic, and weather right after this, 6:28 Tuesday morning.